Hey guys, we are back. I'm just gonna kind of produce some content this weekend. I got this like sudden urge to just produce a bunch of like Yu-Gi content and One Piece content as well. But what I want to talk about today is something that, if you watch the channel, that you know I'm very fond of, which is tech choices. And I think there's something really interesting about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a very old game, so there's a lot of old cards. And just how in my last video, how I was mad about some cards from 10, 15 years ago breaking the game, I think they can also help the game. And some of the cards I'm gonna go over today will showcase that, but a lot of them you guys should be familiar with. This video is going to be on the tech choices I think will be good this coming format, or the format that we're in now, which is post-burst protocol, which is gonna be predominantly dominated by the Fallen Albaz variants, Draco Tail variants. We might see like a little bit of Yummy Mitsurugi sticking around and some Fiendsmith here and there, but I think this format, it's kind of hard to tell which way it's gonna go, but I think I know, and I think y'all know, it's predominantly gonna be like Draco Tail or Fallen Albaz, one of the two. So what you guys are gonna see here today and what you're gonna hear me explain is gonna be predominantly focused on that. Again, although I don't do it as much now, I'm tailoring my videos and content towards the people that, you know, if you're playing Genesis or you're just casually playing or you play once every 3 months, this isn't really for you. This is looking at statistics from YCS's, regionals, if you're going to those type of events, case tournaments where it's kind of like serious OTS championships, to kind of help you guys maybe realize some cards you didn't think, or just throwing ideas out there, throwing my opinion out there, and you guys can watch it and agree or disagree. Doesn't make no difference to me, but I just want to share some information with y'all and hope that it helps. And if it doesn't, and I missed something, let me know below. But we're gonna start. So first is gonna be like the Dimension Trio, as I call them now, even though Shifter is limited to 1. If you're playing any version of like Malice, I mean, if you're playing Malice post-burst protocol, hats off to you. Because Shifter being at 1, we see that some K9 variants are still playing it because they don't really need it. Vanquish Soul, I mean, K9 kind of needs it, right? Because you got the whole like lupus thing, but they can also just do that on the follow-up and then crack back on it on their turn when it's, you know, gone. But anything to disrupt the graveyard. And you'll kind of see this with Called By and Gravekeeper's Inscription, is there's going to be a lot of graveyard stuff going on right now. You know, if you think with the Yummy variations, there's a lot of special summoning from the graveyard, there's a lot of targeting, there's a lot of, with the Fallen Albaz and Draco Tail deck, there's a lot of effects activating, there's a lot of banishing. So if you can hit things preemptively, or like with Gravekeeper's Inscription, neither player can activate card effects in the graveyard, that's kind of huge, because when like Fallen of Albaz gets their 3rd main phase and end phase, none of that exists because they can't activate the effects in the graveyard, and it really sucks for them to have that follow-up, for them to get that disruption on your turn, because they don't have those cards really available to them. And of course, banish from the graveyard or special summon monsters from the graveyard. I think Gravekeeper's Inscription, if you don't have 3 copies of this, I actually do have 3 copies somewhere, but I don't know where they went. But if you're a deck that, because remember, this will affect both players. So if you have a deck that, I mean, really any one of these effects is pretty good, but I think the activate card effects in the graveyard, I think is kind of like the big thing. So if you're a deck that really doesn't care about activating in the graveyard and you can still special summon and banish from the graveyard, cool. That's gonna massively hit some of the top end decks. Even if you think of like, you know, Blue Eyes, right? They have effects that activate in the graveyard, such as like Maiden. There's a lot of stuff to do with the graveyard nowadays, so any disruption towards the graveyard, and all these cards that you see on the list here, it's not everything. This was me just kind of putting some stuff together, and off the top of my head, doing a tiny bit of research and putting together a list just to showcase what I think are going to be some of the best cards and what you guys might want to look out for. So again, any graveyard disruption, whether it be, you know, in the form of thrusting for Dimension Ground or Fissure or Shifter or Called By, or any of the Gravekeeper's Inscription effects are going to be good. Now we're going to kind of go more in towards like the board clearing and hand trap sort of thing. Well, I guess we'll start off with anti-spell. Anti-spell being at 1, I know in my last video I called it to be banned. The fact that it's not banned, you might as well use it, because what a lot of decks are doing nowadays, whether it be Cool Tune, Kill Tune, whatever the fuck, Mitsurugi, Yummy, Draco Tail, White Forest, Dragon Link, whatever you might see, anti-spell hits. Anti-spell might as well be a turn skip. Unless you're a deck that really doesn't care about it, or you just happen to have Mystical Space Typhoon in hand, sure, why not? But anti-spell is going to be a heavy hitting card still in this format. And I think really until it gets banned, just have the 1 in the side, because if you go first and you get stopped by your opponent by a double Fua or Impulse or whatever the case might be, set anti-spell and I am 90% sure you just turn skipped your opponent. Now, the only downside is that you also turn skip yourself, and if your opponent had the hand and they didn't need a search, they could have just set the spells they need to activate, and then on the crackback, just activate them and then go full combo, or as much combo as they could. But I think anti-spell is definitely very good, because it also eliminates the fact that they can't Regeki you, they can't Lightning Storm you, because you can activate this in the draw phase. And because Lightning Storm and all those are not quick plays, then you can't do much. So yeah, anti-spell obviously. Spellbound, I think, is a card that some people might have forgotten about, but it literally affects everything, because all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls cannot be tributed or used as material for a fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link summon until the end of this turn. So it covers a ton of decks, and we've seen that some people in YCSs and regionals in the past have been using this for like the Rise of Malice format, the formats before that. I mean, this has always been like a good card, but I don't think, like, there's better ways to go about stopping your opponent. I think Spellbound is definitely one of those things where it's just like a really good card, because you can't go wrong, because we see that monsters can't be tributed. They can't be used for anything in the extra deck. So it shuts down Lunalight, it shuts down Heroes, it shuts down a lot of decks. The only thing that Spellbound requires is for you to have an insane amount of knowledge, or at least a sufficient amount of knowledge of what your opponent is playing and how they're playing. And reading the room too, like what's in their graveyard, how many cards are in their hand, what have they already searched, that sort of stuff. So Spellbound is a really good card, don't forget about it. It's definitely a card you should have 3 copies of, no matter what, just like Gravekeeper's Inscription, because I don't think it's going to be a card that ever gets banned, and it might be a card that is just really good in a certain format or in a certain matchup, and you can just hit that particular deck at that right moment, and then there's not much they can do. So you might as well just have the 3 copies and kind of, play test it. I always recommend you guys play test and see what fits with your deck, and every deck is different, right? Like in my White Forest, I don't think I'm ever going to take Salesban out, just because Salesban declares a card's name and my opponent can't activate that card. That's kind of crazy, whether it be monster or spell or trap or counter trap. And it doesn't matter if it's in the grave or in hand or in deck or wherever, they can't activate it for that turn, which is just crazy. But it's also a unique deck because we want to see way more spells and traps, so we can guarantee that a Stellar and Ilzet and all those cards go off to pitch a spell or trap. But yeah, so Spellbound. And then Ultimate Slayer, kind of going to the board clearing side of things. Ultimate Slayer is, I feel like, a hit or miss card, because if you go into the Draco Tail matchup, right, or the Draco Tail followed from Albaz clusterfuck, whatever. Ultimate Slayer paired with Entis, of course, you get double the value for, because you'll spin back one of the fusions, whatever it is, whatever board they set up, where, you know, whatever they mustered together, you get to clear that, but then Entis gets to target pop a card, which could be the back row, because it's a monster in the grave. If you know where they set Horn, if Horn is the deadlier one to you, or Flame, if you know which one is Flame, then you can pop Flame and there's nothing they can respond to with that because it's Entis activating in the graveyard. So just kind of putting that out there, food for thought. Super Poly, I think Super Poly is going to be always a great card. But I think especially in this format, I'm calling it now, I think Super Poly is going to be really good. And just because you can see here on the screen the amount of options you have, you know, if you got 3 darks on the field, we're going to see probably some people playing Dragon Link now that they got their little boost in power, and Tracer Rocket is getting the ulti in the OTS. But, you know, you got all the Predaplants, you got Starving Venom, Mysterion, Secretarion, you know, the dynamic duo. You got Chorizo, that's a good option. Star Scourge. You got also 2 just Borload Furious, which is just 2 dark dragon monsters. This is really tailored towards if you see a lot more Dragon Link, I guess, because it's specific dark dragon monsters. But it also has an effect where you can target a monster your opponent controls, or one monster you control, you can target one monster you control, and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. You know, it's that extra value you're getting. You can also make Philia, which is just 1 Dragon Fusion monster and 1 level 7 or higher Dragon monster. Again, with the dragons, because if you end with Arthalion and a bunch of other dragons and Fallen of Albaz was able to go full combo, then it's like, okay, that's kind of cracked. Entis, don't forget, Entis also doubles up with the value because it's just 1 Synchro monster, 1 Xyz monster. I don't know if there's any Xyz decks running around nowadays. I know that Zodiac got their boosted, whatever they got on the ban list, I forget, but they got their extra stuff unhit. And, you know, in case you see the Ring 4 packages running around and you're playing a Synchro deck or whatever, but Entis doubling up as that double value with 1 Xyz and then 1 Synchro. And then also if it's sent to the graveyard, you send it to the graveyard, your opponent sends it to the graveyard, it's a free target pop. And this is for Cool Tune. This I did not find on my own. I did see this in a list where they were playing Enacraft. This is 2 tuners. 2 tuners. It's a free 2200 body. It doesn't do anything. It's a level 5. K9 Vanquish Soul, you know? But this is for Cool Tune, right? There's nothing more this is for, it's for Cool Tune. Then Master of Ham is just 2 beast monsters. Kind of covers a lot. If you're a deck where, like Enacraft, where you don't give a shit about any of the extra deck, then you can just have literally right here, plug and play, 14 different fusions, play the Super Poly, and you're kind of covered for a lot. So just throwing that out there, Super Poly, really good card. Going first, going second, doesn't matter. You can throw one that does like the machines, right? To fusion summon away the whole Enacraft board where it just, some machines, I forgot what it is, but it's like one of the, it's one of the Cyber Dragon monsters, whatever, but not gonna find it. But if you know what I know, if you know what I know, what I'm talking about, yes. Summoning Curse. Summoning Curse is just funny because we don't have that other Summoning Trap, whatever the fuck it was, that's banned now. But we still have Summoning Curse at 3. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Summoning Curse. It's just funny because every time your opponent every time a monster is special summoned, this also affects you, the current controller of that monster banishes 1 card from their hand. So you can still play the game and you still get some summons off, but it's gonna cost you the cards in your hand, which is not fun because if it's like, oh man, I love banishing cards, then it may not be the best. But I think overall this kind of is a good pick. Can't be that bad. I think there's better options. Like I'd rather have a Fissure than a Summoning Curse. But you know, just showing you guys y'all's options. Y'all need to use your best judgment. And then some more board clearing, and before we get into the hand traps, just evenly. There is not a single deck that has trap negation, or a lot of decks that can negate and evenly, just with an Omni negate. I think the branded decks, the way they can get around this is if they go Sanctifier and give you a monster, then you can't evenly, but if they give it to you in attack, right? Fool them. You can just swing into a monster, it's destroyed, and while in battle phase, end this battle phase, just evenly match. But evenly match, I think, is like a really great card. I think a lot of decks struggle against kind of playing around this. And it's the quickest way to clear a board because it banishes everything face down, which is the #1 form of removal, because there is maybe like 2 decks in the game where they can actually recur those resources back. Other than that, really any deck, they struggle against evenly. If you go main phase, attempt to leave main phase, just look your opponent in the eye when you say that, so you can see the fucking soul leave their body when they realize what's about to come, and they try to like formulate in their head the best case scenario of what they keep or how to put stuff in the graveyard and banishment, and they're freaking out because they're trying to like do all this stuff, and they're like trying to like save as much as possible because they know everything's about to blow up evenly. And then now the hand traps, I know these are kind of like, no shit Sherlocks, but again, I'm just throwing ideas out there in case you guys might have forgotten or you're coming back, whatever the case is. This is my content, so. Impulse. Branded Fusion. Need I say more? Or Albaz. Or Ketu. Or whatever the fuck the Draco Tail Fusion is. Just Impulse. Impulse is a really good fucking card. Use it. If you can use it, I know it's a big price. I know they're like $40 fucking a piece right now, but they are just really good. Use it. Retaliating Sea, again, like the poor man's Impulse. The worser Impulse. It's not gonna stop the summon, but everything that's fused, or I guess any card thereafter, any card goes to the graveyard, or that would go to the graveyard is banished instead. So there you go. I had to read it real quick. I forgot the effect entirely, but I knew it was a really good card. I'm bringing up cherries here just because, again, if you're a deck where you don't care a whole lot about the extra deck, then you got a lot of options. Now that Snatchy's at 1, you can throw in the 1 Snatchy. You can throw in the Arthalions. You can throw in the Canine Rippers. There's a lot of cards where you can just entirely cripple a deck. Liger Dancer. You throw in the Liger Dancer because I'm sure you're gonna see a lot more Lunalight competitively because they have the unaffected boss monster, can blow up. Ending on Baguska, SPA, and 2 Ligers, it's kind of like, what do you do? So yeah, Cherries is still a really good card. Maybe not the best card, because if you stop your opponent from just getting to that board in the first place, then it doesn't matter. But I digress. Ash Blossom, again, MVP. We didn't get it hit to 2 like the OCG. Stop the Branded Fusion, stop the Draco Tail Fusion. I mean, this card just does a lot. Also hits the Chummies because, everyone is main decking the Chummies now, so just don't get hit by Chummy. Nib, the end board, just nib it away. I'm pretty sure that they don't have a way, and when I say they, like the Draco Tail, Fallen Albaz variants, whatever, even Yummy and all that stuff, now that Herald's gone, there's a lot of decks that can't deal with Nib now. So, you know, just a lot of people forgot about Nib, and I just want y'all to remember Nib. So, because if you just nib away the whole board anyways, none of it mattered. And all you have to deal with is the spells and traps in the back. Which if you then pair that up with like a Duster or Evenly, bro, you normal summon like Cupsy or normal summon whatever your deck is, Stratos, just pop off, king. Pop off, that's all you. And then Lancia, I know Lancia isn't really gonna be that effective anymore, but the Fallen Albaz deck does want to banish quite a bit. And you know, with the Bestials and a lot of other decks too as well, they banish like maybe a couple cards or banish for an effect. Lancia exists, guys, don't forget it. And then Lava Golem, going back to my point with the Liger board, if they have the 2 Liger Dancers, even the 1 Liger Dancer with the Bagooska and SP, just Lava Golem away the Bagooska and Liger and deal with the SP. This is gonna be a really good card. I'm not really tailoring any of this to the Radiant deck, or the Radiant Typhoon deck, because I'm not sure really how to hit that deck. It doesn't do anything like crazy, but a lot of people are pairing it with like other things, or they're just using like the bits and pieces. And by the bits and pieces, I mean the draw to discard one. So, yeah. And then some honorable mentions, just some things I wanted to bring up as, again, these cards exist. Maybe look at them. Curse of the Forbidden Seal is a funny card because they can't activate that card for the rest of the duel. You do have to have a spell in hand though. It's unfortunate, but this is a counter trap and they can't activate that card for the rest of the duel. So if you hit the fusions or, you know, the ritual or whatever the case, you hit that one big card, you're chilling. And then if you play any fairy decks, you've got Greenlight and Mirage, negation to the spell cards. Again, hitting those, the Branded Fusion, whatever the Draco Tail is, those are like the 2 main cards to look for. Night Beam is also a card, right? For the back row, they can't activate it. You're just really using this for flame. I mean, Duster kind of takes care of that because they kind of just shit a brick. Synchro Zone. We're in a very fusion heavy format. You play a synchro deck like White Forest or Kill Tune. I mean, a win is a win. And then last thing I want to speak about is the Fiendsmith package. I know this video is getting long, I'm sorry guys, but the Fiendsmith package still exists. And the fact that Desiree is still a non-target negate gives you that extra bit if your board, or if your deck rather, doesn't have that strong of an end board. I've always said this, that the Fiendsmith packages, granted, I love and I hate that they took Moon of the Closed Heaven away. There's still other ways to get there, you just gotta work for it, and a lot of people are being very creative with Light Fiends. If you just go on, you know, the simulator and you just search up Light Fiend, there's like Xyz monsters, Synchro monsters, Fusion monsters, main deck monsters. There's still all these Light Fiends that exist. But also Engraver's still at 3. Tract is still at 3. You play a 40 card deck with 3 Engraver and like 2 Tract with 1 Lacrima and 1 Lurie, odds are you're gonna see your Fiendsmith stuff, or you'll be able to get into it somehow. But the Fiendsmith package exists. You got Desiree that gives you a non-target negate, so it gives your weaker deck that negation for the fusion cards. But also too, Rex Tremende is also a card that exists. It's unaffected by every card except for Fiendsmith cards. And I don't see a lot of people playing Fiendsmith cards anymore. So, you know, this wasn't really a good card when kind of everyone was playing the Fiendsmith package because Moon was still out. But now that Moon's gone and a lot more people are kind of phasing away from the Fiendsmith, whether it's they're getting bored or, you know, it's been outclassed or whatever the case is, I feel like this card has more value now just because of the fact you're starting this thing in defense 1 because it's 3600 defense. But like being unaffected by everything, it gives your board that like tower monster, like that really good, like if you're just playing whatever, like heroes or whatever your favorite deck is, and you're able to fit the Fiendsmith package in there, then cool. This gives you that little bit of extra to survive, and maybe that little bit of extra to get you over to get that win in the game. No one's going to expect this card. No one's going to do anything about this card, but especially if you pair it up with like Paradise, you know, that special summon, and then with the Desiree and the shuffle back and all that stuff, gives you a little bit extra to work with against these stronger decks, because there's going to be a lot of special summoning, a lot of fusion summoning. Just keep it in mind. But that's all I had for this video, guys. I will be coming up with a tier list video this weekend of what I think, you know, tier 0, 1, 2, 3, don't play, rogue, whatever, all that stuff. I'll be doing that this weekend. I'm excited for that one because I feel like my opinion is very different than a lot of people's, and my opinion is going to be raw and honest. So if I missed any tech choices, or you guys know or found something that's even more interesting, even if it's like very niche, like with the whole fairies, like you have to be playing Dark Lords basically for this, or any fairy deck to get any sort of value out of these two, just let me know in the comments below what you guys have seen or come up with. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.